Welcome back, everybody. Before I get started, it's the website here. Y'all want to know the news before YouTube and all the news people get it. It's a place called Ground.News. It gives you all the information before the news channel gets it and everything. Everything. Tons and tons of news. Sign up. It's quick, free, and easy. You get all the news you need. Everything. Gives you news on about Ukraine-Russian conflict. It gives you news on what's going on in Libya, Sudan, about Bernie Sanders, the CDC shooter blaming COVID for depression, so forth, so on. It gives you news on the tropical storm that's out in the Pacific and everything. All this. If you don't believe me, here we go. Here's some conflict Gaza news right here for y'all. There you go. That's the website right there. Ground.News. It gives you up-to-date information on everything around here. Even about Iran. Ireland intends to pass trade bill with Israel settlement against the U.S. So forth and so on. It gives you every news update, everything. It's quick, it's easy. All you gotta do is look it up right here. Say like Cincinnati. Oh hell. Just go look for everything here. It just tells you everything. You just gotta type in what you're looking for. Say like it just gives you just look what you're looking for and it tells you everything like that. So forth and so on. Say like Vladimir Putin, it goes here, it gives you all the information about that. Donald Trump. It even gives you local news. Type in your city, say Columbia, South Carolina. It gives you even local news so you can find it. Set your location. Boom, there you go. Gives you all the information you need, current dates, everything. Gives you the weather forecast, top Carolina news. Do. There you go, zero unfulfilled promises, benefits, and business. Here we go. Here's a little something right here before we go to the main event. There we go. Here we go, people. Now what you gotta say to that right there. Boom 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 ba da 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 da. It just gives you basic information of what's going on. Da 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 da. It just goes to show you what's going on, gives you information what you needed. This website right here gives you information before other news station gets it. You heard me correctly, other news station gets it. Say for you go here, choose my topics, science, business, sports, everything. Or you can go to custom feeds. It gives you every local thing, even local right here. Now remember, if you want good news, breaking news for any other news station gets it, go to here, ground.news/local. Now let's get back to the other video, shall we? Just trying to sign out my account here, that's all. There you go. I'm already signed into it already. Now remember, ground.news. Okay? Gives you all the up-to-date information you need on everything. That's how far I stay ahead of everything. And all that good stuff. So let's get back to the video, shall we? The video today or tomorrow, Tuesday, will be the Devil's Den murder target in prison by dangerous gangs. Shall we get ready to go?
In Arkansas is facing serious charges and consequences, but what dangers will he be facing on the inside of prison? Will inmates hate him? Will gangs recruit him? Is there a target on his head already? As someone who recently served 10 years in state prison, I'll tell you exactly what's in store for James McGann. Let's get started. First of all, with James McGann, I think it's safe to say when it all plays out, he will be spending the rest of his life in prison. I mean, I'm pretty sure they said he admitted to it. He made statements to investigators and officers, pretty much saying, yes, he did do it. And even aside from that, pretty much he's caught dead to rights. So, although we have to say allegedly for now, I do believe he's going to be spending the rest of his life in prison. But when he gets there, what happens next? Well, listen, there's a lot to go over, and let's start simple. First of all, let's just talk about James McGann physically, okay? He's 6 foot tall, 180 pounds. So I would say there's really no advantage there with his size, but there's also not really a disadvantage. He's pretty much your all-American version of average as far as height and build and weight. And let me just explain, yes, size is not everything. Just because you're big, you're not invincible. Just because you're small doesn't mean that you can't do, you're not capable of holding your own. Just saying, you are in a world now where problems don't get talked out. They get fought out, if not worse. There are no guns. You can't just pull a trigger, no matter, even if the Incredible Hulk is standing right there in front of you and you're good. No, just just move my finger back an inch. There's none of that in there. Everything, if you want to handle something, it's up close and personal. Even if you don't want any parts of it, somebody might want some parts of you. You hear me? So it does matter. Everything is close quarters. Everything's 6 foot by 4 foot, 6 foot by 8 foot. Narrow hallways, concrete walls, concrete floors. Everything is hands-on back there. So if someone has just an extreme size advantage or disadvantage, it is going to be taken into consideration by his fellow inmates. And really, that's what we're here to talk about. What are his fellow inmates going to think? What are they going to do? What are they not going to do? How are they going to feel about him, if anything at all? Anyways, moving on, there's kind of 2 big points that they have a lot to do with each other. So bear with me because I need to explain both a bit separately and then how they work together. James McGann very likely will be at least looked at. I'm not saying he'll be recruited. He'll be sized up. He will be considered. He'll have some eyes on him by a very dangerous, very violent, very prominent, powerful prison gang that operates in the state prison system of Arkansas. That is called the New Aryan Empire, or NAE for short. A little bit of history on them. They started in prison. Most gangs begin on the streets, and then, as people get locked up, they kind of click up and get together, and then you have your own, group of that spread throughout the state prison system. This one began in prison. Okay. They are brutal. Some of the top leaders have been arrested recently, just as recently as 2020, 2021, for kidnapping, murder for hire, and more. In one case, they even reportedly, this is coming from the police department, used a hot knife to disfigure the face of a member, their own member, who they felt was being an informant and cooperating with law enforcement. They are brutal, they are cold, and they don't care. So I believe this gang, oh, they won't take him. He murdered a woman. He murdered a husband and a wife. But yeah, oh, well, he hurt a woman. Gangs don't tolerate bad. Yes, they do. I don't know what movie you saw or what book you read. I don't know what you're talking about. Gangs don't tolerate violence against grown women, really? Because like 90% of people in prison have like beaten up their baby mama before because they made them pay child support or something. You know that, right? So they don't care about that. What they will care about, a few things. But let's start here because I know you want me to get to. Come on, what about what he did with the kids in school? What about that? We're gonna get there. Just hang tight. What they will care about is the fact that this man, using the prison weapon of choice, a knife, not to glorify what he did, not to say I respect or anything. I'm just giving you the bare facts and how he's going to be viewed in prison. They don't care about what he did. They don't care about who he did it to because they're adults. Everyone's in there or doing bad things and violent things to adults. So not a whole lot of judgment being passed there on that. But they are going to say, dang, this dude. I mean, just look at his mugshot. His whole temperament seems to be, yeah, I did it and I'll do it again. And I can't wait to do it again. He looks like, yeah, if I could get over this desk and attack whoever's taking this mugshot of me, I would. That's what he looks like. Other than his goofy haircut, that's what he looks like. They're going to say, dang, this dude. All things kind of point to the fact that he just did this for the love of the game, for the sport of the kill. He just wanted to go out there and kill somebody. A lot of investigators feel that this is not his first time doing it for many reasons, and I believe that during the investigation process over the next year probably, we will hear about more bodies being tied to him in other areas. This is a guy who went out and seemingly did this just to do it. And he chose an adult man to attack with a knife. Pretty much the only thing you have at your disposal in prison. As I've mentioned in these kinds of videos before, half the guys 100% of the guys in prison are carrying a shank. They're carrying a knife. More than half of them are pretending that they will use them, but never will, and are scared. Less than half will use them. Less than a fourth will use them with the intention to take your life from you. And automatically this guy has already been sorted when you're looking at the prison hierarchy of these inmates and this cell block, and everyone's looking around, who do I need to assess as a danger and a threat to me? That's what you have to do. That's how it goes in there. He's going to be a threat. He's not a little guy. He's not a huge guy. But he's probably, he's standing eye to eye with just about, most people in there, and he will brutally attack you with a prison knife with the intent to take your life. And he don't even need a good reason, because he didn't need a good one to take these innocent peoples from them. That is the kind of brutality and coldness and willingness to enact violence in the way that violence happens in prison that gangs look for, especially a white supremacy gang, the New Aryan Empire. If they decide they want him, you'd have to be a total doofus to... a lot of people also ask me, do you get a choice? If a gang approaches you and they want you to join, do you get a choice? You get a choice. You get a choice. Some people might not like being turned down. Just depends on the gang and what prison and what state. They might not like it. Some may be like, hey, you know what? That's fine. Just wanted to ask. And if you say no, cool. Okay. No problem. And they mean it. And that's that. Good luck. Good luck to you during your prison sentence all alone. He doesn't have to join, but I think he'd be an idiot not to join. As someone serving the rest of their life in prison, why not join a very large 5,000 strong, according to police, gang that was formed in the very prison system you are going to be in? Yeah. You can rise to power. He could be somebody. He will get rewarded lovely for the work he puts in for that gang. And buddy, you seem, I mean, apparently you just like to do it just to do it. So I mean, it's like a perfect thing. Now here's where that could go wrong. Here's where this could totally go the other way. James McGann used to be a teacher. He's taught in several different areas, states, and he's been let go for issues and complications between him and the children, the students. And when I say children, I mean, these aren't 11th graders. I mean like children, 5th graders and under. And apparently he's got, quite of his favorability lies with young girl students. And he's doing a whole lot of creepy stuff. Some parents report he was putting their child in his lap at school and telling them very weird, very creepy things, grooming behavior type of things. One mom even said he told her, her daughter, I wish we could get married, or I wish, I could be your boyfriend. Very just, I'm not even going to say odd things, just disgusting things, honestly. And that also he would bring the girl students treats like from Sonic, and Sonic blasts and little treats and stuff, and just would show a lot of favor to them and have a lot of grooming behavior with these young girls, as well as he was like obsessed with tickling. He loved to tickle. He would tickle these girls. Unfortunately, nothing criminal as far as like charges or just even a statement or a report was ever done about that. He was let go from a few schools, then he'd go to another school and just continue doing what he's doing. And now you have this guy has taken the lives of 2 innocent people who were out there with their 2 daughters who experienced this and thankfully are alive, but their parents are gone now. And they were there for this. So, obviously, that's the big thing here, too. How are inmates going to feel about that? Because it's not like they'd never know.
Well, they're not going to like that.
It's one thing, they would never know if this guy wasn't all over the news, not all over the internet. Because there is no paperwork, there is no criminal charges, there is no record, there is no history on paper that they'd ever be able to see and find out about. Which, hey, trust me, if it's there on record, on paper, they'll find out. But this isn't. And so normally they wouldn't know about this, but because, and I always say, inmates know about big cases in their state and in their local counties and stuff. Inmates love 2 things, sports and news when it comes to the TV. That's the 2 sins of the TV. Don't ever change it when it's on sports or the news. And honorable mention, Jerry Springer reruns. Never change it. Never change it. They love to watch the news. I believe it's more of like a fear of missing out thing and how disconnected they feel from the outside world, and watching it kind of, even in my experience, I think, this is how I felt. And so I'm sure this is in my amateur, therapist brain. I think it just gives you a connection to, hey, I still know what's going on in my surrounding community and in my area and what's affecting the people right here near me, with me, outside of this prison. And so maybe I'm not so isolated, because you feel very cut off, as you can imagine, in prison. So it does help you feel closer. So news is very important, and they pay a lot of attention to it. Sorry to rant, but that's the point. They know everything that's going on. For me, South Carolina, it was Alec Murdaugh. Huge case. Todd Kohlhepp, serial killer, huge case. We followed every last bit of it. Arkansas, they're going to be following this guy, and they are going to see on the news all these allegations and all these stories and personal accounts from, former students and just parents, families of students talking about the weird, creepy, grooming things this guy did. And it gets tricky because, yes, they'll have that information. Ultimately, thank God, there are no reports of him actually physically, really taking it there. Not to say that what he did do is okay or acceptable. Obviously, it's not, but he didn't commit the act, which is a good thing. No one had to experience that. But there's no official, he did this, and he has this charge, and he does have this charge on his record. And so he could get in there and explain away all this. Oh, that was just this and this, and oh, well, this went like this. I don't know how good he is at talking himself out of situations. I tell you this, he talked himself out of going to jail. He talked himself into more jobs being a teacher for young kids after multiple times being let go from teaching jobs with young kids because of weird, creepy altercations. Don't know. He could be able to get that title, that bad title, off of him in prison. Up to him. Whether he can or can't, it's also a coin toss if the gang is really going to hold that on him. Because, listen, if they want him bad enough, if this guy is that brutal, let's say he goes to prison and look at his face, look at his temperament, look at the reason why he does things. He's a violent man. He wants to enact violence on people. He's just looking for a reason. They want to utilize that. They want to harness that energy and mindset and physicality and control it for their benefit. If they see somebody's like, man, if we tell this guy's got nothing to lose, he's here for the rest of his life, he's got nothing to lose. He doesn't have money like that. He's not going to be extorted. He doesn't really have any money or anything. They'll probably feed him. Hey, that's what you do with your hitters, your soldiers, your henchmen, your guys who are they're the ones really putting in the violent work when it's time to be done. And because they get the reputation for doing that, they don't even have to do it that much anymore. It's just their name, and because everyone in prison knows that they will, if they're in the cell block with those people, they don't even overstep boundaries. They don't even mess with them. They don't even do something that would cause them to come after them because they know. And so that kind of just their presence keeps things running the way that gang, hypothetically, would want it to run. Because hey, we got these boys. Oh yeah, you want to, oh yeah. That what you want? You sure you want to do that? Yeah. You see who we got? You see who we got? That's how it operates in there. So, and they'll take care of him just for having his presence there. Here, oh, you hungry? Here's some food. Oh, you want to smoke? Here's some tobacco. Here's some. What do you like? Oh yeah, you need to make a phone call? Here you go. Here's a cell phone. What do you need, brother? You just let me know. But hey, make sure if I ever need you to plunge some metal in somebody, better be ready. Make sure you're ready. I'm sure he will be. When you have that type of benefit at your fingertips and disposal, you'd be surprised what these cold-hearted, heartless inmates, gang members who are known for doing awful, crazy, violent things, you'd be surprised at what they'd overlook. Especially if you give them an out. Especially if you give them a reasonable doubt. Like, oh, well, yeah. Hey, he's never been... If he really did that, why didn't they get him arrested? Well, yeah, it's just... No, I don't think... Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, he's a killer. He's on our team. We're good. Could definitely see that happen. But if they really want to stand for something, if they really want to draw the line there, with the amount of power and control law enforcement says that gang, the NAE, has in Arkansas state prisons, I could absolutely see him having a target on his head and it happening. And I don't care if you think he's going to be in PC, he's going to be in administrative segregation, he's going to be in solitary. Brother, a lot of things can happen in PC, administrative segregation and solitary. In fact, it is a fact, you can Google right now, this very gang was formed by inmates who are on administrative segregation, and they called shots and hits from administrative segregation. So I'm tired of the narrative, oh, nobody will ever get him, he's going to be on PC, he's going to be in isolation, he'll be on death row, he'll be on blah, blah, blah. No one will ever... That's bull crap, and that is not how prison works. It's not. We've seen it time and time again. So, it's up to the gang at this point. He's headed there for sure.